So first of all, mate, I suppose happy belated birthday. Obviously, your birthday yesterday. Did you have a good day yesterday?
I did, thank you. 45 years young, so I had a good day. Thanks, cheers.
So first of all, let's take it back to last week. Obviously, you went on the trip to the lakes with the whole squad. How good was the trip? What sort of things did you go up to?
Yeah, it was a really challenging 3 days actually. Challenging for coaches and players because the coaches got involved in quite a lot of it. But it was a fantastic 3 days for the group. They worked very, very hard. There was a wide range of activities from, taking them out of their comfort zone really. So there's things like abseiling, caving. We did a hike across the mountains in atrocious conditions. Hail coming in sideways. It was really, really cold and uncomfortable. Did some, climbing up mountain rivers and all sorts of stuff. So it was really, really challenging. And the idea was to basically challenge the lads physically, emotionally, bring them closer together, see if any sort of natural leaders emerged, get guys to have a little bit of a look within, how do they respond to difficult situations, bit of perspective as well, is cricket really that tough when you see some of these things these ex-soldiers and these ultra-marathon runners do. So overall it was a fantastic 3 days, very worthwhile.
And how important is it to go on those sorts of experiences just before the season starts? So especially the new players can bed in with the rest of the squad and build a good bond.
Yeah, that's so important. I mean, for example, Chris Wright was quite new to us. Joined us at the end of last season, and he was off in Australia for a few months. So it was a really good chance for him to be integrated into the group. He's an easy guy to get to know anyway, and the lads enjoyed having him around. I think it's a really important time for some of the youngsters as well to feel like they're sort of level within the group and they can challenge some of the older players and help some of the older players get through these tougher times. And you get to find out a lot about each other. And I think just on the eve of the season, it was perfect timing. You might argue that those physical hardships they went through might be better timed before Christmas, but I think the stuff we learnt about each individual and their relationships within the group far outweighed that. So it was perfect, really.
And just touching on the winter schedule, obviously we've been using facilities at the National Cricket Performance Centre at Loughborough Uni. How beneficial are those sorts of facilities to you? And obviously having the ability to go into sort of match scenarios and have your spinners and your seamers all bowling at the same time and getting a bit of practice in.
Yeah, I mean it's such a great facility up there. The ECB are fabulous, leaving it open to counties to come and use, and we used it as an opportunity to do exactly that, bring the game to life a little bit more, some more intense scenario-based sessions we can't do in our indoor school here because we're a bit restricted for space. And it's also not just about that, but it's also a change of environment for the lads. The four walls of the indoor school can close around you from November, so to get them off-site here, go and see how perhaps some of the people from the ECB operate, some of the other athletes that run around Loughborough. We'd go and have our lunch and dinner down by the athletics track on an afternoon and see some of these high-class, world-class athletes doing their thing. So overall, it was a great experience, and we're very thankful to the ECB for allowing us to use that facility.
And you already mentioned his name previously already, Chris Wright. Obviously, Chris came in as well as Will Davis and Aaron Lilly to join the bowling attack. Just focusing on Chris, how much experience and know-how can he bring to a more or less young bowling attack?
Oh, immeasurable, really. I mean, we were so lucky that we got Chris. When I heard that we might be an opportunity for him to come here, I was like, yeah, we must sign a player of Chris's quality. He's experienced a lot in his career, but he spent most of that career in First Division, so he's played at the top level for a long, long time and had great success. Already you can see he's a natural leader. He knows his game inside out, and I know that I have in him a great sort of voice and an ally to help me deliver my messages to this young bowling attack. So, with Chris and the likes of Mohammad Abbas leading the attack, I think it's a great signing for the club.
Focusing on the rest of the bowlers you have at your disposal as well. Obviously, we've got Gav Griffiths who sort of pushed on towards the end of last season. Ben Mike did well once he made his debut, and obviously Tom Taylor and Will Davis got big seasons ahead of them. Obviously, because they had pretty much big injuries, didn't they, throughout last season? So, how important is it just as a unit, I suppose, that everyone sort of pushes on and reaches the expectations that you expect of them?
Yeah, to be honest, I love the way you use the unit there, because that's one thing I'm trying to put together here, and we all are, is to have this really close-knit bowling group that know a lot about each other, what makes them tick, but how hard to work. The standards we set are very high. The expectations you rightly pointed out are high, and they're going to need each other to help them reach those. And I'm really happy to say that over this tough winter, they've worked together a lot, which has been beneficial for them. But Gav, Tommy, Will, Dieter as well, we mustn't forget Dieter, all these guys, Ben, Mike as well, they all bring very different things to this group. They're all very different individuals, very different bowlers. And all we've done this winter is challenge some of their thinking. We've done some technical work, done some white ball out based stuff, and they've thrown themselves into it brilliantly. They've worked really, really hard. And if they can take that work ethic and attitude and smiles as well, they've had some good laughs as well, and they've had some challenges. I think they take all that experience into this summer, we'll have the makings of a fine bowling unit that I'm sure will do the job out there for us.
And if we just jump into the future a little bit, obviously we've got Loughborough next week, the only sort of warm-up game before the season starts at Sussex. So what are you sort of expecting from that game from your bowling attack?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's well known that we haven't been on tour this year, and I actually think there's a positive in that we have been only training and playing in English conditions, so there's no adjustment period when you get back to these wickets here. So we've been very lucky. Andy and the ground staff have done a fabulous job to get us out at this time of year, and I think that puts us in good stead when we go out there and play Loughborough. Really what we're trying to expect from that game is a clinical performance, but also a chance for guys to really be put under the pressure for the first time when a result matters, and see if they can transfer that good work they've done this winter into the middle. But having said that, it's also being realistic. It's their first proper run out. They'll be a little bit rusty, they'll be a little bit stiff and sore in the body, but ultimately it's just a great opportunity to impress everyone and get their season off to a positive start.